Okay, so I wanted to make a video to show you how to build this thing. I'm going to do like a sample concert poster. Feel free to fast forward or watch it at time and a half speed. Do whatever you need to do. This is for you, to be helpful for you. And I'm just going to not take too much time, but I'm going to build this thing. There are a couple things that I want to show you before I get into the designing part of it, and that is in this beginning screen. Today I talked about saving your file and then going back to be able to access it throughout the week, because this is not something that you're probably going to finish in one sitting. I'm going to try and do that or get close to that right now, but you probably will not, because you're going to be learning new skills throughout the week, which I'm hoping you're going to continue to explore and enhance and adjust and make your poster as great as you can make it, so that when you turn it in on Friday, you'll be proud of what you did. So here's this opening screen. If you saved your file earlier to the cloud, you can open it from the Gravit cloud. Now, you may also have saved it down to your computer, and I'm going to show you how to do both of those things again. Let's just open up period 1. Okay, so I'm going to click on this and say open. Boom, there it goes, right up on my screen, right where I left off earlier today. Now, if I had saved it to my file, let's save this down to our computer. So I'm going to go File, Download File, and it's downloading as a Gravit Design file. That is the file extension that is native and proprietary to Gravit Designer. So I'm going to my Downloads folder. There it is. Notice the file extension .gv design. And put that in the project folder that I made for concert poster. If you haven't already made a project folder for concert poster, make a project folder. You're going to want to tuck it inside Studio 903 at some point, but I'm just going to leave mine on my desktop right now because I got too much stuff going on in Studio 903. Look at all that stuff I got going on. Okay, so going to my downloads, I'm going to grab that and tuck it in here into the concert poster folder. Let's just open up that concert poster folder so you can see what's in there. I have period 1, 2, and 4. I downloaded all these already. So if you had downloaded that Gravit Design file, you're not going to be able to open it randomly on your computer because your computer doesn't have a program to open that. But you can import it and open it in Gravit Designer. So let's do that. Let's go back over here, and I'm going to open up, not period 1 because it's already here, but I'm going to say File, Open Local File, local meaning it's coming from my own computer, my desktop. And I'm going to go navigate to the desktop, and I'm going to go to the concert poster folder, and I'm just going to open period 4. Okay, open. And now there it is. Now take a look at this. I've got 2 tabs open now. There's my period 1 file. There's my period 4 file. Pretty nice. So I can have multiple tabs open in Gravit Designer in the browser with multiple documents going if I wanted to. Okay? So there's a couple of different ways that you can access your file, that you can save your file either into the cloud and get it back from the cloud, or you can save your file down to your computer and open it back from your computer in Gravit Designer. Let's build this file. What do I want to do? Well, I created a sketch, and I actually made a copy, or I took a picture of my sketch. And it looks like this. This is the page of my sketchbook. And I'm going to use this as a reference because I put some information down here. I also wrote out the things like the name of my artist, the name of the tour, the date, the location, the time, where to buy tickets, and some hashtags. So I got all of these notes right here ready for me, and I'm going to use them. And then this is the design that I think I'm going to go with that I talked about in my Flipgrid. I'll just keep it open over here, probably over here. I'm going to make this window a little bit smaller. I've got a big monitor in front of me, and I'm just going to leave that there for myself as a reference, okay? So my idea here was to have a picture of Maggie with some like mountainy looking things in the background, maybe a big setting sun. And I want my venue to be Red Rocks, which is this awesome concert venue in Colorado. I've never seen a concert there, but we went and visited this place when we were in Colorado a couple years ago, and it's a beautiful concert venue. I would really like to be there someday. So I'm going to try and make my design be about that. And I'm calling this the Sunshine on the Hills tour. So I think the first thing I want to do is kind of create a full background. So where I'm going to start is by creating a shape. So I'm going to go up to my shapes, and I'm going to grab a rectangle, and I'm just going to click in the top right corner, top left corner, and drag out a rectangle that is the full size of my canvas. And you'll see in my layers that once I start putting stuff onto my canvas, it starts to show up in my layers panel, which is pretty cool. Now I want to make that a color, so I'm thinking that my color palette is going to be, you know, like warm hues with like blue sky, kind of like sunsetty, goldeny feel. Maybe I'll use some gradients. I don't know. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to select, I think I'm going to select a gradient. So I'll select a linear gradient, and here's my gradient up here. Now I can color pick and put colors up on these sliders right here. So this is the one side of the gradient, it matches up with that. Here's the other side of the gradient, the stop for the other side, it matches up with that. And if I selected this, it's going to change it to red. If I select it over here, I could change different colors. I want to go for like a bluish color over there, and down here I'm going to go with like a yellowish color. Let's see if it'll do that. Yeah, kind of maybe a little bit more warm. There we go. Like a sunset, right? And then I'm going to turn this by clicking on the slider, and I'm going to turn that so I can get my gradient to kind of go in the direction that I want it to go. Okay, that's cool. I like that. The next thing I want to do is I have these, like this circle type thing here, kind of like a sun, like a really, really, really big sun. And I think I want to see how I can create that. Can I do that with a giant circle? Probably. Let's just work with basic shapes. So an ellipse is a circle that is like a elliptical shape, right? But if I hold down Shift, I can create a perfect circle. Same thing for squares. If you use the rectangular tool, you could hold down Shift, write that down, and you can create perfect circles and perfect squares. So I'm going to make this big. Big, 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 big. It's going to go off of my canvas. And I'm kind of layering. There we go. I'm layering things, right? So I don't want to block too much of that thing in the background. So I'm going to go like this and maybe like that. I mean, I don't want to distort it too much. Remember I said don't distort stuff. And let's see. Let's make this sun color something really nice and really warm. We can either use the swatches that are here, or I could pick something from the color picker. So let's make it something like that. Since I already used a gradient up here, I think I'm just going to try it like a flat color. But I think I want it to be nice and bright. Maybe a little bit more red in there. There we go. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go back to my reference image. Next thing I have is like a picture of her, and I have some mountains. I have an idea for a photo of her that I want to vectorize. So I'm going to show you how to do that and what I'm going to do to manipulate it. So what I did was I did a Google search for images of Maggie Rogers. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. Maggie Rogers. And I'm going to search images, and then there's some cool tools. Ooh, I like this image already. There's some cool tools right here. If you click on tools, you can actually change the size to any size, large, medium, icon. I'm going to choose large because I want an image that has pretty high quality, high resolution, so that when I put it in here and vectorize it, it's pretty clean. So going back to my sketch, like I did a stick figure of like full body. So I really like this image and I have it in my mind, but I'm looking at this too, and this is like cool because it looks like the rocks behind her, but it is kind of blurry. It's kind of a grainy photo, which could work. But I wonder if I could find, I mean, this is a really cool image. Let's see if we could actually find that one, use that one. I'm not sure how it's going to reproduce as a vector image, but we'll try. So I'm going to right click on it. First of all, I want you to notice that I didn't just grab this image from here. I actually am right clicking on the image or clicking into the image because I want to go to the original image. I don't want to just take the thumbnail from the search because the thumbnail from the search is only this big. If you click into the real image, it's going to be a much bigger image, which will be better quality for you. So now that I'm in the real image, I'm going to right click and I'm going to save the image as, and I'm going to save it down into my concert poster folder. It's a format, it's a JPEG already, and that's good. It says her name in it, so I think that's okay. We'll click save. The other thing you can do is if you're working on a Mac, you can just click it and drag it. Sometimes the pictures are protected, but sometimes they're not. And I just dragged it and it ended up on my desktop. So let me show you where, there it is right there. Okay. Going back to this, and I'm going to close out of these. Boom, boom. All right, so I want to bring that photo in to here so I can vectorize it. I'm going to click on it and just drag it right in. There's my photo. So now that I have it in here, I actually have some other colors that I might experiment with in the photo, but I can't just leave it a photo because that means it's a raster image in my vector illustration concert poster, and I need to vectorize it. So in Illustrator, there's something called image trace, and you can do something similar, but with different effects in Gravit. So you would be selected on the image, go up to modify, to path, and vectorize image. Look at what happens. So that image was a total bust. It was too large. The computer did not want to accept it into Gravit Designer, and it basically blew up my machine. So we're going to try again, and I'm going to use a different photo that I found, but I am inspired by that image of Maggie because it's got like the idea of this cape that she's wearing kind of looks like the rocks, and where did that go that I have my concert poster? Kind of looks like the rocks behind her that I was trying to create this effect here. So I'm inspired by that. So it's not a mistake. It's not a loss. My work was saved, so it's not a total bust, but I got rid of that photo. So I still have this. So I have this other photo right here. There we go. There's Maggie. I think let's try and open this. I have an idea for what to do with this photo, and I know that yesterday it vectorized for me. Let's see if it does. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this is saving. So File, Save to Cloud. Let's see. Maybe it's already saved. It's auto-saved. Command S. All right. Let's drag this thing in here. See what it does. All right. There's this image of Maggie. Now I'm going to try the vectorized path again. Let's see what happens. Modify, path, vectorize image. Man, it doesn't want to do it. There we go. It did it. Yay. It made it really big though. So I'm going to click and drag from the corner, and I'm going to hold down Shift to make sure that I'm constraining the proportions of that illustration that I made. Dragging from the corner, make sure that it keeps the proportions. If I grabbed it and went like this, now I'm stretching it, okay? Command Z to undo. If I grabbed it and went like this, now I'm squeezing it. Don't do it. Remember when I said don't distort or squeeze or stretch your images? That's exactly what I'm talking about. So Command Z or Control Z to undo, and then I have this image of Maggie. So I'm going to put this image right at the bottom because it kind of cuts her legs off in a weird way, and I don't really have anything else to finish off the image there. So I think I want to leave it at the bottom of my page. And then I'm going to hold Shift to constrain the proportions and grab this so it goes right to the edge of my document. Okay. So what I think I want to do is I want to build up these pieces here. I want to build them up into the mountains and change the color of them. So if I click with the selection, this is the selection tool up here. If I use the direct selection or the sub-select tool, I can actually grab individual points. The selection tool, the main selection will move big objects. The direct selection or the sub-select will move individual points on things. So I'm going to click right here and drag that up. Look at that. And I just made a mountain. And then I'm going to click right here and I'm going to drag up. I think I might need to drag a couple more of these up. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, Command plus, plus, plus. And now I'm going to start getting messy. So I'm going to go like this because I want to create this mountain effect, but I don't want all these. I've got too many points going on here. So the other thing that I could do is I could create additional shapes here with the pen tool. Let's just see what that, if I grab the pen tool and I was like, okay, let me just create more shapes, right? And I can add my own shapes to it. And if I want it to be the same black, I can choose the color picker and select this black to make sure that this black is the same. Okay, so I'm going to go back to, I think it did fix it already. Okay, going back to the selection tool, I'm going to click off here so you can see. Kind of got a few things going on here, so I'm going to move. I want to move with the pointer with the selection tool. Move this over here, and maybe come down a little bit. I can rotate it like this. I'm just kind of experimenting to get the mountain effect that I wanted. That's not going to be what I want to do. So like that, and I need that to be down here. And I'm going to rotate it back. If I click and hover over the corner, I'll get this double arrow, and I can rotate things that way. Okay. So I think I'm going to just stick like that for right now. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to try and bring these colors together a little bit right now. And I don't really like this right here. I've got too many pieces of the graphic going on. So like, see, there's that, this piece and this piece over here. They're like not together. So I want to merge some things. So I'm going to zoom out, Command minus to zoom out. And I'm going to select this. Let's see, I'm going to select that. And I'm going to hold down Shift. And I'm going to select this to hold down and to select more than one thing. And I'm going to use my create a compound shape up here, and I'm going to merge those things together. Now there's different options here, but I'm going to union. I'm going to use union, and it merges the areas of two elements. Click that. You'll see that those things disappeared, and now those things are merged together. I can do that with all of these things. I can do that with this one, holding down Shift and click that, and I'm going to merge those things. Oh, it did it, but I also saved my work because I don't want to mess it up any further, okay? So if I were going to take all of my time right now and over the course of the week, I would probably go in here and I would like fix and clean this stuff up and fix and clean this stuff up. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of how you can start creating those shapes. I think I do want to pull up some of these. I want more of the mountain over here a little bit and more over here. So if I click on sub-select and I go back to this one, if I click right here, it's gonna, oh, look, I double clicked and it gave me another point, an anchor point. So now I can actually maybe click on here and give myself another anchor point. Yeah, there we go. That's good. And then I can extend my mountain over there. And now I have this like mountain range. Doesn't exactly look like what Red Rocks looks like in real life, but it implies that she's in the mountains. And then, or the hills, right? Remember I said Sunshine on the Hills tour? So let's do a couple of those over here too. Let's see. That's just a random shape. Ooh, look at that. Look at what happens when I get rid of that. That's kind of cool. I'm going to go back to the sub-select. I'm going to zoom in. And I'm holding down the space bar and grabbing and moving my canvas over. So hold down your space bar to grab, to create the hand tool, and to grab and move and see around it, okay? Let's see. Let's grab a couple of these, poke them up. Those are really small. It might make better sense to actually just draw a new shape right there, although that gets kind of interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw a triangle shape. Boom. And I'm going to draw it like that. I'm going to hold down Shift and it'll hold it in place, and I can drag it and adjust it however I want. I want to go to the edge so it looks right. Okay, yeah, I like how that's looking. So I want this to be the same color as these, so or I can just merge it. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to click this, and I'm going to merge them again. Oh gosh, please don't freeze up my computer. Here's the deal. Doing this program with the vectorized photo has frozen up my computer a couple times because I'm trying to record as I do this. I don't think it likes doing both of those things. So I'm going to change my plan slightly, and I'm actually going to make this poster without this image vectorized of Maggie. I'm actually going to remove all this black stuff and this right here right now just by deleting it. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm changing plans. It's okay. We have more than one day. So I'm going to go back to this original image, And I think rather than this image of Maggie here, I'm going to put her name in this space, like Maggie Rogers. But I still kind of want to get this whole sky. Maybe I'll put a moon up there, a little crescent moon where the big sun is setting and the crescent moon is rising. And then I still want the mountains because this is going to be at Red Rocks. So let's do that. So I'm going to use shapes to create mountains really easily. Here's triangles. And I'm going to just click and drag out some triangles. Oh, that was giant. Try this again. Click and drag. No. Triangle. Click and drag out my triangle. If I hold down Shift, it'll make my triangle kind of sit flat. And then I can grab these and go down with them. I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to make that have a fill of this dark red color, like Red Rocks. And then let's see if I can hold down Option or Control and click and drag. That's a little keyboard shortcut that I know from Illustrator. So if I hold down Option or Alt, click and drag, I can make copies of my objects, woo, of things that are selected. I'm going to make that one a little bit smaller and different. Hold down Option or Alt, click and drag, make another copy of it. We'll make this one go up slightly and like this. Okay, so in just a few short strokes, I've made shapes. Let's make one more because I kind of want to cover this over here and we'll make it a little bit smaller. I'm holding down Option, clicking and dragging. And then this one I'm going to go down like this, a little bit wider so it goes off the page. I think I might need one more over here. And this one could be like skinnier, kind of to the edge of the page. No, I don't know. Let's see. There we go. There we go. That's cool. It's kind of a pokey mountain range, so maybe I don't want it to be so pokey. I want it to look scary. There we go. All right, so I've got my gradient in the background. I have my sun. I've got my red rocks. These things right here, I could actually grab all of these shapes that are red and I can merge them together so I don't have too many. Or let's see if they'll merge for me. Union. Yep, they did. Now look, it's all one shape. Boom. I like that a lot. Okay, then I can shift it around a little bit too. I actually want to come up here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to create that crescent moon that I was talking about. Let's see, how can I do that? If I go to ellipse, and I'm going to hold down Shift and make a circle. And it's white already. Yay. And then I'm going to hold down Option or Alt, click and drag and make a copy of it. So now you can see I've got this circle and this circle. And then I'm going to select both of those. And I'm going to come up here and say, I want to subtract. So subtract, it tells you right here, subtract the area of the lower object. I want to, if I do that, it's going to take away the, there we go. So see, now that's what I have left over is my little crescent moon. Oh, it's perfect. I love it. So I'm going to leave it over there. Now I could go over here into my effects panel if I wanted to, and I could mess around with blurring and stuff like that. Let's see if I just put a little bit of a blur on it. Oh, that's pretty. I could really dial it up. Look at that. Oh, isn't that nice? Have fun. All right, it's time to start putting some text on this thing. Okay, all right, so here we are. I've got my mountains, my sun, my sky, and my cool crescent moon. I'm gonna start laying down some of the text now. So I'm going to put her name over here in this space right here, and then put the relevant information about where the concert is and stuff like that right over here. So I'm gonna go to my text tool, and I'm going to put a text box right here. And this is where I'm going to type in her name, Maggie. Now it happens to be white already, but if it wasn't the right color, I could change the color over here in appearance. I can change the color that I want that text to be, but I want it to be white so it shows up on the background. I do want to experiment with different fonts. So I'm going to click right here and I'm going to scroll through this stuff and see if there's anything I like. I like this font, Pacifico. You need to think about the feeling that you want to evoke with your concert. This is out in the middle of the rocks in the mountains of Colorado at Red Rocks. I kind of like that Pacifico one. It was pretty cool. Play ball, that's fun. This is nice too. Maybe I'll do her last name in that. Thinking ahead a little bit. So I think I'm going to go with that Pacifico font for her first name. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. This is to go. I like that. I like the way the G's look. And I'm going to select her name by clicking and dragging, and I'm going to change the point size on her name from 20 points to about 150 because I want it to be big. Woo, it's almost too big. Click over here to get out of there. I'm still in the select tool, the pointer tool, and I'm going to open this box up a little bit bigger so I can see her name. Great. Now, her name is not really in the right place in the box because it's aligned to the left. I could center align it, or I could right align it. I'm going to right align it. I'm going to move the box over a little bit. And then I'm just going to make this box a little bit smaller because I don't need it to be as big as that. Okay. And I'm going to put her name right about there. It's actually kind of big. Maybe it's too big. Let's see. I'm going to go maybe to 100. That's better. Okay. I'm going to make this box smaller, easier to manipulate and move around the page. Now I'm going to make another box for her last name because I'm going to try and do a different font and a different effect. So I'm going to call her last name is Rogers, right? So I'm going to go all caps for her last name, Rogers, but I'm going to change this font from Pacifico to something else. This is a script font. I'm going to pick a nice complementary font that's like very clean. It's going to be called, it's a sans serif font. We haven't talked about typography yet, so you won't really know what that is. But I'm going to, I know as a designer that pairing fonts together, a serif and a sans serif, or a script and a sans serif, is a really nice way to get a good effect. So that's pretty cool. Let's go down here. Railway. I like railway. Rogers. Great. Let's make her name bigger. Let's go to 100. It's too big. Right now, what I want to do is I want to make it the same width as her name, Maggie. So, and because it's a different font, even if it's the same point size, it looks much bigger than her first name because this is all in lowercase. So let's reduce this down to like 80 and see what happens. That's closer. I'm going to go to 75. 75. All right. And then I'm going to also right align it. And then I'm going to move it up here so that there's a little bit of overlap, right? So there we go, Maggie Rogers. It's still a little bit bigger. I want this to really align right here. So I'm going to select it again, and I'm going to, I got it selected. Select, and instead of 75, let's try 70. Just that little adjustment is what I needed. Okay. Now, I can change the color here, or I can do something because I really want this overlap to have some kind of an interaction. So let's see if maybe I change the opacity a little bit on her last name, if that helps. It does. It's cool. Okay, I dig that. And it also has like a slight opacity that kind of plays in with the crescent moon. So there we go. Maggie Rogers. Now let's start getting some relevant information in here. All right, so the artist is Maggie Rogers. The date, it's going to be at Red Rocks. The tour is called Sunshine on the Hills Tour. I just totally made that up, by the way, and Ticketmaster.com. So let's start laying this information in right here. I think I'm going to use the text tool again, and I'm going to type right here, Sunshine on the Hills Tour. And I want to maybe center that text in that space. So, and make it bigger. It's too small. It's only 20 points right now. Let's make that 80 points. Too big. 40 points. So over here and see if it works. Still a little bit too big. And I got a double I. Check your spelling, you guys. Check your spelling. Okay, 40. Let's go click this and say 35. Sunshine on the Hills Tour. We like that. Okay. All right, I'm going to move it over a little bit. I'm nudging it by using the arrow keys. Oh, isn't that a nice trick? All right. So do I want it there? Do I want it up here? Maybe I want it kind of over the mountains. Yeah, I kind of do. I think I want it up there. This is the stuff that you can explore over the course of the week. And I'm going to make another text box right here, and I'm going to use my kind of grid over here to place the text in this space. We're going to say this is at Red Rocks Amphitheater. Theater. Here we go. Red Rocks Amphitheater. What did we say? June 12th. That's my kid's birthday. So June, gotta be back over here. June 12th, 2021. We're looking forward to the future. And then 8 p.m. Let's say 8 o'clock. 8 p.m. And let's make some of this information bigger. So Red Rocks Amphitheater doesn't need to be huge, but maybe the other information needs to be much bigger. So 50. And I'm going to change the line spacing there a little bit to 80. Tighten that up a little bit. And what size did I make this? This was 35. Let's make Red Rocks Amphitheater also 35 points so that there's some consistency in our point sizes. And if we do that, then I can make this a little bit bigger so that it fits there. There we go. And I want to tighten up all the line spacing here. So I'm going to select all that text and I'm going to go over here to the line. Click right there, 50. That's too tight. Click right there, 60. That's okay for these two lines, but not these two lines. They're a little bit too close together. So I'm gonna go 70 because the text is bigger. Oh my gosh, I'm changing the size of the font, not the size of the line spacing. Hold on a second, undo. I just lost my, there we go. Select that, line spacing, change that to 70. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. Phew, too many things. All right, so this is looking pretty good. It's pretty straightforward. I think I want to make sure that I add in some stuff about, Ticketmaster, like where to buy your tickets, right? So let me go back to my drawing. Maggie Rogers, I got that. Sunshine on the Hills tour, the date, Red Rocks, 8 p.m., Ticketmaster.com, and then, I think I had with Chris Pierce, like it was an opening act. And then hashtag Red Rocks concerts, hashtag Sunshine on the Hills. So let's see where we can add that stuff. I'm going to make another text box underneath here to say, come on, text box. You know what? I'm going to stop right here and I'm going to save my work. Command S. It's getting tricky. Text, click. There we go. With, I'm going to go lowercase, with Chris Pierce, who I did see live in concert at Humphreys, and he was awesome. And I'm going to use the same font that I used for her name. So I'm going to go back up to Pacifico, I think was the name of it. Pacifico is up here. There we go. With Chris Pierce. And let's make that a little bit bigger. 30 points. And maybe let's change the color of it to match something that's in the sky. So color picker. Pick that color from the sky with Chris Pierce. And then I'm going to move this over here. It's a little bit too dark, so I'm going to need to lighten it up a little bit. I'm thinking about alignment as my, so I've got shape going on, I've got organic shapes, I've got color and contrast, I have type, and I've got alignment going on with my principles. So move this up here. I need to lighten this color. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to go like this and drag it over here to make it lighter. So it's still blue, and it was still the blue that I picked up here, but much lighter, but it's not quite white. So it pops a little bit. So that's good. And then I'm going to move this down a little bit so there's a little bit more space. Close that up a little bit. And then I'm going to add another text box down here. And this one is going to be for tickets. So I don't know why I can't see it. Hold on a second. Let's look at my layers. It's behind all of this stuff. So I need to move this text box up here. Somehow I made that layer. Look at my layers panel. Text, text, text. This text box was behind my shapes, so it was not visible. This compound shape, that is my mountains. Let's name it. Mountains. Now I'll know. So I need this text box to be up here. I just clicked and dragged it. All right, so I'm gonna click on this text and I want to say, I'm even to say buy tickets now. If I just said ticketmaster.com, people know what that means. They know that that's where you get the tickets. But I'm gonna select it and I'm gonna change the font to, well, what is this other one that I've been using? Railway. So I'm gonna use Railway. So right now, so far, I only have 2 different fonts going on here. Nice complement to each other. So I'm gonna go to Railway. Boom, Railway, there we go. All lowercase, I'm good with that. Ticketmaster.com. I'm gonna move that to my bottom margin. Did you notice how it kind of snapped to align to that? So I've got this stuff is aligned right here. This stuff is aligned right here. I'm gonna nudge Maggie over her name a little bit. And this, it would be cool if this aligned with this. So I'm gonna maybe make that font size slightly bigger. Let's go to 37, see what happens. Yeah, and then I still want to center it on the page. So, okay, I'm happy with that. Let me just zoom in a little bit. I still want to include a couple of hashtags over here. So I'm gonna take this box and I'm gonna click, I'm gonna click Option and drag over, make a copy of that box. Oh, isn't that nice? And I'm gonna justify that text, and I'm gonna use that same box, that same text to make my hashtags. So my hashtags were gonna be Sunshine on the Hills Tour. Okay, and then I'm gonna hit return. I need to make this box bigger though. Click off, click down. Sunshine on the Hills Tour, make another one, and then it was at a Red Rocks concert. I'm only going to use 2 hashtags. I think that's okay. And then I want to align this on the bottom as well. But I think I'm going to choose a different color. I'm going to, because it's a lot of white, so I'm going to grab this orange color. So color picker, grab the orange, and now it's nicely orange over there. That is where I'm going to stop for now, you guys. So here is your demonstration. I hope it helps you guys. We're going to keep building this throughout the week, so you'll have a chance to explore. You can change what you're doing. You can come back to this. I'm going to save this work before I do anything else. File save. So it's saved in the cloud, but I'm also going to download the file, and I'm going to save it to my folder. So I just downloaded it to my downloads folder, and I'm gonna move it to my desktop. I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna move it to my concert poster project folder on my desktop. Okay, that is where I'm gonna stop for tonight. I know I went through a lot of stuff. Hopefully you could stop and slow down or speed up just to get some ideas. Hopefully this helps.